Lois, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited about listening to your story. You've gone from coach to looking after well-being in corporates. If you could just give me a little bit on your journey, that would be really great.
Sure, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Susie. So I started really as a mindset transformation coach, reset coach, and really teaching people how to change their mindset in order to change their lives, and how it can really affect every aspect of their lives, including their well-being. I then was working in some companies that really didn't factor in well-being so well and weren't really interested in looking after their staff, and didn't understand the impact that would have on their productivity and the retention of the staff. And it really made me feel very jaded. And then I sort of got to thinking, because I'm a very solutions-based person, that how can we deal with this as a challenge and actually try and improve well-being within other corporates, and really make management understand how important it is to factor in well-being, and how important it is to productivity and retention and loyalty and all of those things. So that's when I started the Conscious Collective. And I literally decided that I was going to start an organization where I would go into corporates and provide not only things for their senior leadership team, so really explaining how well-being can affect productivity and retention, and then actually showing measurable results, but also providing ways to enhance your well-being with tools like meditation, breath work, sound baths, and so on.
Gosh, sounds really good. Perhaps we could change and do that now. That's quite a change, and actually that's quite a cultural change that you're getting corporates to go through, which is obviously really well needed. In that journey, what's been your greatest success?
So really, my greatest success, I would say, has come from a very personal journey of mine. And that's really been transforming my own life after the biggest loss of my life. So it would have been probably about 9 years ago, really, now, since we lost our third child, our daughter Noah, who was born seriously ill, and, after a completely normal pregnancy. So it was a big shock. And then after endless hospital stays and visits to the doctor, she unfortunately passed away at 10 weeks old. So that was a huge life-altering, traumatic event for us as a family and for me personally. And it really made me take stock of my life. And I then slowly, after my sort of initial waves of grief, decided I needed to move forward. I needed a way to either improve my life, or it was just going to break me, make me or break me. So I decided to start this whole journey of well-being on my own, and really look at how I was living my life and the energy I was bringing to life, and the way that I was perceiving just the outer world, and how if I changed my inner world, it would completely change my outer world. So that's really kicked off this whole adventure for me, really, of becoming a coach, of then moving into corporate well-being. And I would say that is my biggest success, is to actually using that adversity and turning it into opportunities and creating something bigger than me to help others.
Gosh, absolutely fascinating, and actually, yeah, the good that can come out of hideous adversity. And look, I hate always to talk about failure, because I think failure is an awful word, but what's been the biggest failure in this journey that people could learn from?
So I have to say that I no longer really consider anything I've done to be a failure. I only really use them as lessons, and how can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? And I really think that people, really should remind themselves that actually nothing you do is a failure, and everything you do, you can gain something from, you can learn something from. It can help you grow, it can help you expand, and it can help lead you to the next success in your life.
No, I agree with you. I think it is always about lessons learned.
Yes.
And actually, it sounds like you've had great amounts of resilience and grasped opportunity from those lessons. In terms of, when we talk about to founders, they always talk about, what's that someone gave me this greatest bit of advice. What's been the greatest advice you've been given that's helped you on this journey?
So I would have to say it would be stay in your own lane. And in other words, that means just watch what you're doing, focus on your journey, put your energy into your journey. And that doesn't mean disregard other people and don't have relationships and, don't be empathetic. But what it means is don't watch what other people are doing and then compare yourself to other people, because that will only completely, falter your journey. And it won't allow you to grow. It will keep you stagnant by watching what other people are doing and worrying, oh, they did that at 20 and I'm only getting started at 40 and that kind of thing. It's irrelevant. Time is irrelevant. You will become a success or do what you need to do or live out your dreams when you're ready to do it. And only you can do that. It's not about other people. And it really, it's been an absolute game changer for me to just give my energy to myself and my own journey. And that's propelled me forward in such a way and at such a speed that before when I was looking back and I used to be the old me, because I really feel that this whole journey has transformed me into someone completely different. It's like up-leveled my life. I'm like 2.0 Lois. And if you ask someone that knew me 10, 15 years ago, they would say I'm a completely different person. So even before my daughter, it's just transformed me tenfold. And this has again propelled me forward to just stay in my own lane, focus on myself. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. It's quite a famous statement and it's true. You notice it when your energy is deviating and it's focusing on things, that aren't even not just other people, on too much social media, on just the distractions of the outside world. But when you have a vision and you have a dream, you need to focus on that. Take time off, take some time to relax, but ultimately don't become distracted.
I like that. So stay in your own lane and yeah. Equal to, I suppose, focus.
Yes.
And I spend a lot of time with lots of female founders, and you're right, they all go in lots of different directions. Excellent. And what's something that you wish you'd known earlier before you started this journey?
So I really wish I would have known that you always have a choice. Even when you think you don't have a choice, even when you think you're stuck with something, and people do this all the time. They kind of think, oh, well, I must do this and I don't have a choice. And, I have to stay in this job. I have to stay in this relationship. I have to do this. I have to go here. I have to please these people. And actually you don't. And again, it's not to say you should be disrespectful, disregard others, but you do need to protect yourself and protect your own energy, especially when you are working on something, for yourself and you want to make a success of yourself and your life or your business. And you really need to, know that you've always got choices in life, and whichever choice you take, know that that was your choice, own it. Even if it was a bad one or one that maybe you thought was bad. But again, you can learn from that. It's never a bad choice, right? So you always have a choice. Always think carefully before you make a decision, and also feel like, is it aligned with me? I really think you can, not to get too woo-woo, but you can, really feel in your body, if you really sit with it, is this aligned with me? Does this match what outcomes that I, want to achieve? And yeah, it's really all about choices, staying in your own lane.
Lois, thank you so much. Really interesting, and some really interesting tips for people to think about. And for me, choices and stay in your own lane. So thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thank you, Susie.